Greetings, and welcome to SeptumSin versus the World. I'm SeptumSin, and this is Kotobuki Jake.
Hi.
Link to both of our blogs is linked in the description. I look at this as sort of a continuation of my blog, and of course, he's got a wonderful blog, very knowledgeable. Usually towards Oscar time, it really starts to warm up, so we're all prepping, of course. Not quite ready for Oscar season just yet. It is July. But we have picked up some nice things, and I'm going to hand it off to him to start off.
All right. Well, speaking of Oscars, speaking of Oscar season and Oscar films and all that stuff, my first pickup is actually Conversion. Since we both collect so much, we need to condense every now and then. So I'm starting when I get the chance, and he does the same thing, to convert DVD to Blu-ray if we get a really good deal. And $2.95 is a pretty good deal for a great film. I was at Second and Charles last week, and I found this film, City of God, Cidade de Dios, by Fernando Mireles. And this was kind of the film that put him on the map as far as American audiences go. He went on to make a couple English language films. Constant Gardener was really good. I think he did Blindness. I never did get to see that one. But this was a film that was up for 4 Oscars, including director for Mireles. I would have liked to have seen it be up for Best Picture and a couple others. It's one of those films that I will readily concede that some of the critics showed a little too much love for it, but I genuinely thought it was pretty awesome. And it's set in the slums of Rio, and what's called the City of God frequently is like the slang term for it. And it's about a kid who becomes a photographer, and that's kind of his ticket out, supposedly based on a true story. And if you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. I'll look forward to seeing it again one of these days. Got such a backlog of Blu-ray, who knows when I'll get to it. But it'll be very nice to at least make the collection a little bit tighter. And then also this one deserves the Blu-ray upgrade, which is always a bonus too. Yeah. So I know you're waiting to say something about that.
I'm just itching for this one. But actually, I will be showing something similar actually as an upgrade later on in my show and tell, I guess you could say. Well, much like the Constant Gardener, I do see the theme of crippling depression throughout these films. Which, is very good for the art aspect. I don't question the art. It's just extremely painful to sit through. That's always been how a lot of those fight films.
You loved to hate, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I did watch it. I think you actually showed me the original DVD copy you had.
I think so.
And it is a necessity. I mean, it is an Oscar winner. I'm hoping to eventually get a whole set of Oscar winners, which is impossible because some of them are out of print permanently. But I can collect as many as I can. And this film was done, in my opinion, very well. It just, again, for me, I do understand, pictures of suffering and poverty and all of that stuff, but at the same time, I have to be in the sort of a mood for poverty, suffering, pain, and depression, and that's just my whole thing on that.
Just watch the news for a few minutes. That'll get you in the
But on a lighter note, my collection here also has a bit of a theme, and it's about sales. This is the season of sales. Well, one of these I kind of hinted at last time I did a pickup review, and that's Adventure Time. Somebody was offering these actually on eBay for a sale and did them less than $10 a season. And with Season 7 about to come out and Season 9 being the end, I was able to get all of these. Now, these are, of course, just Seasons 1 through 6, but still not bad. I got this for $53 after I paid shipping on it, which is, again, not bad if you look at the pricing on these.
Mm-hmm.
I actually do like the slip covers on these. They kind of give it sort of like that paper cutout feel.
Mm-hmm.
And Adventure Time is one I was always a little bit iffy on because of the art style. And then I ended up, I'll hold up this thing so you can see again. I mean, this is kind of really what the art style looks like. It's very simple. And it bothered me for a while, and I kept saying, well, maybe this is more for just kids. But a lot of my adult friends really like this series, and I decided, okay, I'll give it a try on, I think it was Hulu, actually, because they had pretty much everything on Hulu. And I actually got hooked on it, and I kept watching and watching, and there is a surprising amount of depth. They treat the characters very well. And as the seasons go on, I'm one of those few people who actually has looked at the later seasons as though it's strange. It actually does do a lot of explanation and has a lot of depth that I was very surprised to find. This series is actually a pleasure to have in the collection, and as of like a couple of years ago, I would not have said that. So what do you think? Have you had any opinion on Adventure Time?
Well, this is one that, working in the library, I encountered it a lot. It's very popular right now. And we had, like, individual collections, like, the few episode collections, whatever. And also the graphic novels, which I believe we file in the young adult section. So it definitely doesn't... I kind of was aware it was not aimed at kids. But he's right. The art's so simplistic. It's like you do have to get over it. You have to get over that hump and be like, this is, yeah. Actually, he showed me an episode featuring that guy. That was kind of interesting. And at this point, I've only seen a couple of episodes, but it looks pretty fun. And I have more or less universally heard good things. So, and I have to admit, I am envious of that price, because that is a pretty good price for 6 seasons of a show.
Very short.
So,
you can watch an episode in like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. So, and that was, by the way, how I started watching this. Is I'd be sitting there, and we'd be sitting on the couch, and I would have like 10 minutes to kill. And I was like, oh, well, I'll watch an episode of this. It's 10 minutes. I think that's how I'll eventually get into Steven Universe, actually, is I'll watch that at 10 minutes at a time.
all right. Yeah. I'll have to see that one of these days. And I'll, of course, end up getting it one of these days. Way down the road.
When they do the condensed, like,
they'll probably do a
version.
complete collection one of these days.
Yeah. It's going to end in a couple of seasons.
Yeah. Good times. So my next one here is also another one of those library acquisitions, and like I said, sometimes you can be very surprised at what you can find. And this is not a high dollar set. It's pretty clear that it was a low budget release, but it's new, which is cool. But I said there was a little bit of a theme, and I hadn't even thought about it when I was putting together what I was going to bring in. But this is also a Brazilian film. This one is City of God, I think it was 2002. Quilombo is from 1984. And I honestly...
Forward, so you can see that beautiful artwork there.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Watch
can
the
you
light
see?
there.
Yeah, there you go. And it's just a weird looking cover. It's kind of fun. And to be honest, I know almost nothing about this. It's from the description, it sounds almost like it could be a documentary or at least a docudrama. But it basically is about runaway slaves that escaped to the mountains, says, where they formed self-governing communities known as quilombos. And the back compares it to Roots, which, so I guess that gives you maybe a touchstone to work from. But one thing that does jump out at me is music by Gilberto Gil. And I actually know a little bit about Gilberto Gil. He is a very, very, very talented musician. He is one of the premier musicians in Brazil. And So the idea of a movie scored by him, that's kind of cool. I like that. And, overall, I figured, I've never seen this. I'd never really heard of it, but $2 is a pretty good price to pay for some good music by Gilberto Gil, and also getting a little peek into something different that I wouldn't normally get to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever heard of that one?
When I first saw the actual cover, I thought, well, shoot, this must be like some sort of Monty Python / Batman episode, because that's what it looked like. It looked like the Scarecrow done in Monty Python-esque.
Batman. That is awesome.
But
too bad I didn't get to.
Of course.
Could you imagine if they did a Batman sketch before Graham Chapman died?
That would have been
awesome. Oh.
But I found a lot of gems doing something like that. Looking at something that says, "Hey, this looks pretty cool." Of course, you have a lot more knowledge of certain things, so you have a better shot at striking gold than I do. I usually just take the roulette. I was like, "Ooh, this cover looks interesting. This looks like
the next one you have in your queue."
Oh, okay. Well, that's my own twisted sense. But still, I know nothing about that film, so I really can't say much other than that's what my first impression was. But it does sound actually genuinely interesting. I mean, again, probably another one of those crippling, depressing films. I've seen the remake of Roots. So,
sad to say I've actually not seen that. I need to. I'm a very, very bad TV and movie geek. I know. It's on the list.
Well, I have one that's also kind of an impulse buy, and this one goes again with the sales theme. Shout Factory, actually Scream Factory in particular, is a division of Shout Factory. I've talked about them before, and they make excellent releases. I mean, these are excellent, cleaned up versions of older films, but they're usually super expensive and hard to come by. But they had a wonderful sale this time. Sometimes they were as little as like $5 or $6. And this particular Blu-ray would only have been purchased at the $5 or $6 mark. But it's Sharkensaw, Women's Prison Massacre.
I mean, that's not worth $30 to you?
Now, I don't know exactly what it is about cheesy horror that, I love so much. But anytime that you have the word Sharkensaw and then Women's Prison Massacre in the same movie title, this is going to be fun. Even if the movie is terrible, which I can almost guarantee you it will be terrible, and the acting is going to be abysmal. But I can also tell you it's probably going to be quite funny, and it's going to be very entertaining. I cannot wait to break into this and enjoy some shark on sorority girl action.
That's a phrase you don't hear very often. Now, are you more anticipating this one or Sharknado 5?
Well, this is probably that tide over while I'm waiting on Sharknado 5, I did watch Evil Bong 666 the other day, and and they're going to be doing a new Ginger Dead Man movie from it. So
how is the sixth one? How is Evil Bong?
Well, Evil Bong 6 is better than Evil Bong 420 and Evil Bong High 5, but that's not saying much. That just means that they changed scenery, which they didn't bother to do with the other two. They just kind of sat there, probably smoked up a couple, and then just said, hey, do whatever you feel like. Here's some puppets. Throw that in the mix. This might be something like that. So what are your thoughts on Sharkins?
I have no words.
See, you can see the back right there.
Just when you thought it was safe to swim in the Arkansas Bayou.
Yeah, I tell you. He's reading the whole of it.
Man. Okay, no, I will admit, if it's not too gory, this sounds just absurd enough to where it might be fun. But I'm not big on gore, so that's a big thing there. But it sounds delightfully...
Oh, well.
What the...
Hey, that's what I go for when I go for movies.
Yes.
All right. So probably something completely different.
And now for something completely different. A movie that I actually saw, I think I saw it. I cannot swear to it. I'm almost certain I checked it out when I still had Netflix. But I went through so many movies with that I really did forget some of them. But way back in '07, I remember it was '07 because 300 was on the list, and I said, why in the hell is 300 on this list? But it was because they had just been released. But I did what I called a snapshot of the Internet Movie Database's top 250. And so obviously already we know this is a movie that IMDb had rated as one of the top 250. So obviously different. Yes. I think it might still be on the list, but I need to check. But there were about 50 odd movies I had not seen. I think there's still like 3 from that list I have not gotten to yet. A couple of them he has, and that's one reason why I haven't gotten to them yet. It's kind of, I just need to borrow them and get it over with. But this is one that I swear that I saw it. It's also takes place in South America, but it's actually a German film. It's by Werner Herzog, and it's called Aguirre, the Wrath of God. And I'm trying to... There we go. That's probably a pretty good image. Stars Klaus Kinski, and it basically is after the obliteration of the Incan Empire, Pizarro sends his soldiers on the quest for El Dorado. And that's basically the plot of it, is basically this quest for El Dorado. And it's a really good movie, really well done. But again, I'm saying this based on my faulty memory. I think I can remember bits and pieces. I swear it's this movie. But whatever the case, just like Quilombo, I think it may have been the same person that donated them. Brand new copy, God elaborate. I'm like, that's awesome to get one of these supposed classics. Not to mention that Werner Herzog is very well known in movie circles, and so any chance to beef up my Herzog collection, that's definitely, worth doing. But did you have this one? I do not remember.
No. Though there is a Herzog collection. I'm trying to think of who puts it out. Herzog. Well, I'm gonna have to. I'll look it up as. Oh, there it is. I see. Yeah, $92 on Amazon. So if you want a Werner Herzog collection that may or may not include this movie,
I'm sure it'll give a listing.
Well, I'm not gonna sit here and lodge that.
I think most people wouldn't pay $92 without knowing what's on there.
Well, it is by Shout Factory.
I think I did see. Yeah, it does say Klaus Kinski.
So yeah, so maybe, it's probably.
Although he may have been in more than one of them, I don't know.
But I've heard some good things about this collection. Again, that's a Shout Factory release, so they did a lot of restoration for it. I've heard of Herzog, but I don't know if I've seen any of his films. I cannot recall any, like off the top of my head. What was he famous for?
I think he's mostly known as a documentarian, but he has done some drama films too. And I want to say he did Grizzly Man. Maybe I'm getting them really mixed up. I feel like there was one about bees.
Bees.
I don't know.
That sounds like one of those movies that I would like.
Probably. But, yeah. Yeah, but this one's definitely kind of intense drama, sort of.
So we're again getting away from art. This one was due to cashing in some Best Buy bucks, and I wanted to get some pre-orders on because I never know when Best Buy releases steelbooks what's going to be rare, what's not going to be rare. I mean, apparently Logan was like bought off the shelves long before, and anybody who didn't pre-order it didn't get a chance at it because people went in, bought 5 and 10 copies a piece, then turned around the next day and put them on eBay for $150.
Well, that's kind of silly. Why would you buy a steel book of Logan? It should be adamantium.
So, and these two that I'm going to put up, they're not rare in the least bit. But I've been wanting to get these, and like I said, I went ahead and pre-ordered Wonder Woman and Spider-Man so that I'll have those two, and I'm hoping that those are going to be the rare ones. But the ones I have here and talking about are John Wick and John Wick 2. Now, like I say, I'm a fan of steelbooks. I love the look of the cases. If I could, I'd convert everything to in my collection to steelbooks, but not likely or realistic to happen. I've heard I've heard a lot of praise of this. I mean, when I saw this first coming out, I was like, oh, another Keanu Reeves film with him acting wooden and just doing stuff. I was kind of just not really caring. But then it got a lot of good reviews by people. I mean, I hear around a lot of the people that like the movie, that do the movie reviews and video game reviews. They all come back to this as like, this is awesome, this is great, you've got to see this stuff. So now I'm actually going to see it. I mean, I'm hoping to see both of these, maybe back to back one night. I'll just do like crazy pumped up action night and see this super tough man John Wick, number 1 and number 2. He's gonna do both of them at the same time.
You mean finally beating Broforce wasn't enough of an action night?
Maybe not. So what are your thoughts on John Wick? Have you seen any of those films?
Well, those should be wooden cases, not steelbooks. Well, no, from what I've heard, I've not actually seen the movies, but I'm interested. Not really all that big a fan of Keanu Reeves. I don't have much faith in his acting ability, but I will admit in certain roles he is able to do a very good job.
Yeah.
He is very good at playing Keanu Reeves.
Or rednecks. He played a good one.
He was good
in
in The Gift, yes. And we're not, and we're talking the Sam Raimi Gift, which is an underseen movie. Although the what's his name, Joel Edgerton Gift is also pretty cool. But anyway, I have heard really good things about the John Wick movies. I have heard that it is one of Keanu's best roles since The Matrix. And that's kind of his shtick, I guess, is the relatively emotionless action dude. And
so, are we like talking original Matrix Keanu Reeves, or?
Oh, I'm not counting the sequels.
The sequels, John.
No. I forget them.
I'm going to try and cry.
Yes. Tip out there to all budding directors: if you are ever fortunate enough or unfortunate enough to cast Keanu Reeves, do not ask him to cry. You can ask him to glower, or wear sunglasses and try to look cool, or just be an ass, but don't ask him to cry. Period. Anyway, he can do almost everything else. He can even play a lighthearted, charming role. He was okay in Something's Gotta Give.
And Bill and Ted.
But he was... Again, me being a bad movie geek, I have never watched... I did watch the cartoon when it was on. But I don't think I've ever seen the movies. Has that cartoon been released?
I think that is coming out. That is getting,
I was thinking that was one you
somewhere.
would try to get for your nostalgia thing.
That's on my wish list.
I would probably actually get that because there's a little bit of nostalgia there. But I have to see that one of these days. It's just, it's like, Keanu Reeves, what's the hurry?
Hey, he's really good. I mean, he plays an ignoramus, so I guess that's not too bad.
Well, there are people who are good at playing an ignoramus, and you can tell that they're actually doing a really good job. And then there are people that you're like, it's like, what was a good recent example that I've seen of someone just playing a total moron who is not a total moron?
Pauly Shore? Well,
I'm not going to count him. Well, let's see some good examples. Chris Cooper in Silver City. Woody Harrelson in Cheers. I mean,
Yeah, he's actually quite a good actor.
Yeah, you get some. There's a difference between a really, But anyway, that's enough of that. I'm sure he could do it. Or playing the stoner dude. I mean, Sean Penn in Fast Times. I mean, that's, he did a good job with that. But, but anyway, guess that's all I got to say on that one. I do want to see the movies, but who knows when,
Yeah,
if you do it for movie night, I guess if we get those, anyway. So did we decide we are doing 5 each?
Let's just keep going. I got 2 left on my end.
Okay. Now this one, I'm not going to pretend that this is a quality show. Actually, I'm breaking the theme. I'm going from South America over to Japan now. And this is a show or franchise. I only brought the first season. He actually gave me the whole franchise, all 4 seasons. And it's good that I never got around to buying it.
Oscar-winning potential right here.
Yeah, right. Suffice it to say, we have a mutual friend who really, 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 really likes shows about boobs and things like that.
Yeah.
And another friend and I watched an episode of this and said, "Oh, this friend would love this show," and he doesn't really care for it. So there's your, your thought there. But anyway, this is the first season of the series Ikitosen. Definitely not known as one of the great anime, but like I said, I wanted it. If nothing else, it has a good cast, and I do have a tendency to be a little more forgiving with anime than I am with some genres in terms of quality, but I enjoyed the episode I saw. I didn't think it was something I'm going to want to sit down and marathon. But it'd be a good, unwinder at the end of the day sort of thing. You know what I mean? But definitely not a top shelf series. And I know, obviously, since you gave me the series, you don't have the highest things to say either. But
obviously, top shelf series. I've actually, early on, I would have been like gung-ho for this series. I mean, when I first watched anime, I was all about boobies, hey, boobies! And, that was all it really took. I mean, so the series didn't really have to have an engaging plot or characters or anything like that. And I've watched the first 2 seasons. It might have improved in Season 3 and Season 4. It is kind of weird that Season 1... 3 and 4 are easy to get, but Season 2 is hard as heck to get. So, hold on to that Season 2. But...
Well, y'all may have seen, this had the green save stripe from Funimation.
Well, that's the easy one to
Funimation put this one out, like, dirt cheap. But they released Seasons 3 and 4. Mm-hmm. But I think Media Blasters did Season 2, and for some reason, Funimation never picked it up.
Media Blasters has held on to the rights. They love that film.
Yes.
And they just couldn't let go. Maybe I got caught on a bra strap or something. But,
they do weird stuff, like stopping Squid Girl without putting out Season 2. That was stupid. And then they sat on the rights of Zetsubo Sensei for how long? And one of the best shows that'll never be released.
Long enough to kill it.
Stupid.
But, as far as series go, I mean, it's meh. And I'm trying to do a little bit better than meh. I'm trying to... I mean, I don't know if y'all might have noticed, but I do have a little bit of a collection behind me. And I try my best to...
I was going to show the evidence of better than meh. Shark and salt.
Hey, nothing... hey, there's got to be some full enjoyment out of that. I mean...
That's true.
It's been about those series, I mean, they've gotten to be... Mm-hmm. It's just gotten to be so formulaic to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, series like Oni-Eye or... there's or Cat Planet Cuties even, which you do like.
I did like that one, but there was one I saw that I did think was completely formulaic. It was shoot, which one? See, I've forgotten what it was.
It's so formulaic that it just fades back into there. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I'm still kind of about Oremo. I say Oremo. How is that spelled?
I think it would be Oremo.
Yeah, I mean, that series, not only is it expensive, I've heard it's decent, but it's about a guy who ends up getting together with his sister, which...
Mm-hmm.
Japan. Alright, well, I'm going to move on from that. I think that's a pleasant note.
On
to
that
actually
note.
move on. So,
sorry, all people from Japan.
I'm a movie club member of the Disney Movie Club. And occasionally I like to take advantage of the buy one get one 60% off. So I was getting my wife some actual gifts from there. I mean, they actually have a couple of exclusives that you cannot get anywhere else. I'm not going to say it just in case she does end up watching this video.
I was going to say.
So I of course decided to get a couple other things that were fairly cheap, and much like my friend here, I like to try and upgrade a little bit. So this is an upgrade of a movie that I think was actually about time, and Disney does a great job in a lot of their upgrades. So on here is Disney Movie Club exclusive Return of Oz. Or Return to Oz, sorry. Return of Oz! This is like a sequel of the Prison series that we have. And
which, every little known fact that was a Disney production.
So this is actually quite dark. I mean, for a Disney release, it always surprised me later on to think about that. It's like, this was released by Disney. It takes quite a dark turn as to what The Wizard of Oz actually was, and it leaves you thinking maybe this is actually all in Dorothy's head. It introduces a lot of extra characters, some of the darker, more creepy characters. The lighthearted nature of the film is kind of bogged down by scary creatures. I mean, the Wheelers scene is one that scared many children back in the day when this came out, and I'm sure would today also if people were watching this for the first time. So, you know, if you ever want to have fun, plug in the original, then plug this one in, and enjoy. So what do you know? Have you seen this one actually?
I've actually never seen that.
Oh, you really should see it. Do you have it in your collection?
This. No, I don't.
If you want,
I have the original, of course. No, that's a very different looking visual aesthetic, though.
Yeah, you can have my copy.
Oh, it stars Jack Skellington.
It's actually a very good film.
Piper Laurie?
Yeah. It's actually well done.
Introducing Farouja Balk. Dang, she must have been how old? Interesting. Isn't that something? Yeah, of course, the original is a classic, and that is truly a well worth a watch, but I'll have to see that one of these days. That looks interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they actually take Dorothy in for electroshock treatments throughout the series, so it's actually I'd say it is definitely worth the watch.
So it's Wizard of Oz by way of Alice in Wonderland, huh?
In a sense, I feel like Tim Burton actually had some inspiration in this. I want to say that in some interviews he has mentioned this film as some inspiration for him. So, if anything, if you haven't checked this out, you've got to check this out. It really is worth seeing. All right, now put you over here.
Good times.
I've got something to end that's not worth seeing.
Oh, what a way to end it. Okay. Yeah. Well, my last one tonight, this is going to be, it's just a small piece.
One Piece?
No, it's not One Piece, but one might think this franchise is almost as big. Not quite, because One Piece is a behemoth. But that same trip to Second and Charles, I found one random volume of Naruto Shippuden that was actually under $10 for a 13-episode volume, which is sadly very difficult to find with this series. The reason why it's sad is you'll notice the number 25.
It's up to 31.
Yes, episodes 310 to 322. Now imagine the silly people who pay $30 a volume. That's I have managed to get, I think, 10 or 12 volumes of this at a reasonable price. But to be honest, I am not in enough hurry because God knows when I'll ever get to this series. I really want to see it. I've seen the entire run of Naruto, but I've never seen Shippuden. I would very much like to see how the story progresses because I love the first series, even though roughly 100 episodes are filler that I know he has commented repeatedly. People who are more familiar than I am with the manga have commented repeatedly that the filler is nowhere near what it should be. And I myself, not being familiar with the story, know that it does drag quite a bit. But if you got a tolerance for periods that drag, Naruto is a very fun, basic story. It's a very oh man, Masashi Kishimoto, is that his name?
Heck if I know.
I should remember that. Well, the world that he created is really, really interesting, and the story's really good. They just milked it so much that there's so many extra episodes that don't need to exist. So if you do want to tackle the series, you're in for the long haul.
Yeah.
But it definitely is well worth collecting, and anytime I can find a volume for $9, I snap it up. And so this was definitely, a very cool purchase. But this is the weird, messed up thing. There was a used copy of Volume 24. This is 25. Volume 24. I don't remember the exact price, but I think it was about $25. And I'm like, and this one's $9. What's the difference? I don't, whatever. It's
Well, I am one of those people who tries to collect it as it comes out. I did try and wait for it to come on sale, and sometimes I'd say I've gotten about 10 volumes of the series for a good deal. But I don't know, it's just getting so far behind on it, I just said heck with it. And now that the series has actually ended, until you have to go to Boruto, which is the sequel to Naruto Shippuden, so you've got all that, but
Naruto, the next generation.
But just like with the original anime, the manga ends before the series does. I've got up to volume 30, and volume 31 is shipping. I'm also in the midst of trying to watch. I think I just finished that volume myself. It's up and down a decent series. If you like your fighting series, there's one behind me, Bleach, that you might see out there. But
Naruto is better than Bleach.
I also suffered from the same basic